Hey y'all, happy Friday. Welcome Swig Squad. Welcome Squad, happy Friday. Happy Good Friday. Okay? Praise them. Praise them, y'all. Good Friday. Happy Good Friday. My loves. Hello, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. Good evening. Hello, hello. Good evening. Y'all, I am obsessed with this Karmelo Anthony story. I am like, seriously. I feel so bad for these people. Um, I did get a little more information on the situation. Not much. And I mean, basically, it's still, the same facts and information, going on or whatever. Nothing majorly different. It's just that I feel horribly sad for these families for something that could have been prevented. I feel so horribly bad. And I just don't know who what I would do if this was my child. Like, you know, where I would go and what I would think, where my headspace would be. I know his parents are like, so disconnected. So, just sad. It's just like I said, sad for all parties involved. Okay. Um, Happy Good Friday, everybody. Happy Good Friday. What's up? Hello, Rex. Hello. Good evening. Very hot. Very hot. Gotta cool down. I gotta cool down. It's hot. Listen, and I'm always hot. Fat people be hot. Look, listen. Fat people be hot all the time. Okay, well, so the extra information that I received in regards to this case, it wasn't much, and it wouldn't make any difference in anybody's decision or whatever anybody has seen. And I mean, this isn't meant to sway anybody another way or anything like that. It's just for me to be able to express my feelings, document my emotions, and kind of like journal it as I go along. So it's kind of like just like note to self. These were my feelings on this day at this time. And as you know, facts and different things come up in the case, I can see, like, certain elements of my opinion changing and switching up based on the amount of information that I have. So right now, what you know what I'm actually dealing with is this self-defense definition of self-defense. So I was watching Judge Joe Brown. Judge Joe Brown was on somebody's podcast, and he was explaining how self-defense says in the self-defense clause, this Fifth Amendment, that, well, first of all, the Fifth Amendment states that you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say, and with the Miranda rights, anything you say can and will be used against you. But with the self-defense rule, it says that you cannot escalate the use of force. You cannot escalate the force used unless there is disparate strength. Hello, Maya. And what's being said with that is, you can say self-defense if, it's a little old lady and two young teenagers are trying to steal her purse, and they trying to snatch her purse, and they being really forceful with her, and she pulls something out and really hurts them. That is something that would be just a easy regular self-defense case, because of course that little old lady did not match the strength of those young men. And I'm speaking about Karmelo Anthony, the young man in Texas, and the little old lady didn't have the strength of, the two young men, and she had to do what she had to do because it was either her or them. So with that being said, she had to use her force because of who she was up against. And they have to have, if you use lethal violence, you have to have just cause to say why you escalated it to that level. So what that means is Carmelo would have had to, he will have to rather, say why he chose to go the route he went. Why did he feel like he needed a knife? Why did he feel like he had to use it so forcefully? And why did he feel like he had to unalive the young man? So what I'm hearing, the other information that I have is that the elements of the weather was very it was very rainy and windy this day. This young man was under their tent because it was the closest thing to where he wanted to sit, where he could sit with some shelter, because it was raining, so he didn't want to just sit out on the bleachers. So there were chairs under the tent, and he copped a squat. Well, the young man, Austin, walked up to him and said, "You need to get up." because you don't belong over here. Well, they be entitled, and they feel like if they tell you to get up, that's what you should do. And Karmelo wasn't having it. That was not a good day for him. So he said, don't, he said, you better move or I'm going to move you. So Karmelo says, well, move me. Well, him and his twin was there. I understand Karmelo may have been a little intimidated, a little scared, and the boy put his hands on him. And, once you put your hands on somebody, you really are ready for whatever they got coming. So usually to anybody else, once you touch somebody, unless you just entitled and you feel like everybody should listen to you when you say do something, and if you say move out of my way or move out of this section, then they should be running to get out of the section because you said so. And Karmelo just wasn't feeling it that day. Now, the flip side of what I heard of this is allegedly Karmelo had been allegedly known to, I don't know, take people's stuff, go over there and, pick up other people's AirPods and phones and, things like that. I'm not sure how true any of this is because, of course, I'm all the way in Michigan and that's in Texas. So I'm just expressing things that I have heard that could sway somebody one way or the other. Now, the climate that we're in, because of what's going on in this country right now, I really do not feel like the young man, Austin, should have approached a stranger, an African American stranger, to try to make him do anything. I just don't feel like in this climate that was a smart thing to do. I don't feel like, I think that he was really looking for all the smoke when he said, you gotta move from over here, because I'm sure that he had to think about that before he did it, because I know it wasn't just a knee-jerk reaction where you just see somebody sitting under your tent that you don't recognize and is not familiar to you. So you just automatically say to them, hey, dog, you got to get up. I think that there was some conversation and some premeditation going on when before he approached this young man. I feel like there was some conversations, maybe with the other twin, maybe with some other individuals of the track team, maybe even with just someone that he was familiar with and someone that he was, at the track meet with. I feel like he may have felt that do y'all know this guy? Y'all ever seen him? Anybody know him? Like looking around, taking a consensus of do anybody recognize him? Do anybody know who he is? And everybody like, nope, I don't recognize him. Nope, me neither. And then he just walk up to him like, you gotta go. Dog, you can't be under this tent. You got to go to it's a very entitled gesture to me. It's very, listen, I am not by no means insensitive to the fact that this young man actually is no longer with us. However, in breaking down the facts of just what has been laid out, it appears to me that if you're going to approach a tall, strong, young, athletic built young man, African American man, you have to be someone, especially if he's just there sitting. He's not bothering anyone. He's not harassing anybody. He's not poking anybody. He is merely just sitting there chilling under the tent where he's not familiar and you're not familiar with him. But why are you so confident to be able to approach a young man of his stature, and you feel like you could have walked up to him with all the confidence that you had and told him that he better get up and leave? Unless you were prepared to, especially once he said, move me then. And then you didn't just walk away like, oh yeah, this dude crazy. He out of his mind. Like, you really decided to go ahead and, I mean, I guess you thought you was going to move him. Like, to me, mentally, like thinking about that mentally, I'm just looking at that and saying, I know that I wouldn't be quick to approach somebody just anybody of any size. I'm not approaching somebody with confidence to say, you know, you don't belong here. I'm just not going to do that unless I have, you know, some backing, or unless I know that if I can't do nothing with him, we can, which is a collective amount of people. So I'm feeling like he must have been feeling himself and had eaten his Wheaties that morning to let this young man know that, you know, you're not supposed to be sitting over here. And not only are you not supposed to be sitting over here, but when you say move me, I'm going to attempt to move you. Like, that to me, I mean, of course, nobody deserved to no longer be with us. However, I do feel that maybe, I mean, why did you feel so certain to walk up to this stranger and say to him, you gotta go? I mean, and then, like, were you security? Did somebody hire you as sergeant at arms? Did you, like, is there a reason why you are so protective of this tent that's here and these seats while we're sitting here in harsh elements and it's raining and it's windy, and you just don't want somebody to partake in your shelter that belongs to your school? I mean, it's not a personal tent of yours. These aren't personal seats of yours, but you felt like you needed to personally approach this young man and say to him that you got to get up because you don't belong with us. You can't sit with us. You aren't one of us. So go ahead and leave. Head out. We want you to get up out of here. And then, of course, Karmelo looking like, who are you talking to? Because this is a free country. This is public area. This tent is not on your property, your personal property. This tent is on this track. So what are you trying to prove, and what is it that you think I'm going to do? And so once he was threatened with, move me then. I'm sure that the young man, Austin, could have definitely said, this ain't even worth it. This dude crazy. I'm going to go and get security. Maybe I'm going to go and get somebody who does this for a living, who is able to remove people for a living, because he's not supposed to be sitting here. He's not supposed to be sitting in these seats, because these are reserved seats for our team. And he should not just be sitting here. So I felt like if he didn't want that smoke, whatever could have been done, because of course it could have been a world where it was just a big fight breakout. Like why do you want that kind of smoke over something that doesn't even belong to you? Why is it that you could only think of, let me just try to see if I can move him. Well, he ain't supposed to be over here, so let me do what I got to do to make sure he leave. That's just, that's just a lot of entitlement to me. And again, I am so sorry that someone is no longer with us. I am saddened by the fact that, um, this horrible situation actually took place. They said that he grabbed Karmelo's property. Karmelo then reached inside and said, "Touch me and see what happens." And Austin and his brother, moved in to further see what they could do to him. And because Austin moved first, he was the one. So the issue also was, when Karmelo was apprehended, like I stated before, one of the remarks that he made was, the police said that, this is the alleged suspect. And Karmelo said, it's not alleged. I really did it. Well, if you are going to claim self-defense, the first thing you have to do in claiming self-defense is admit what you did. Because if you're not going to admit what you did, then what is the self-defense for? So he would have had to go ahead and admit that, he had done something wrong. And in order for him to claim self-defense. The conversation in regards to, I was defending myself. Do y'all think I can get off on self-defense? That, I think, is going to be a problem, because like if you were aware and you knew that that was the only thing that you could do, to protect yourself, it shouldn't even be a question. You shouldn't, you should have actually just been saying as matter of factly, oh, that was self-defense. I know for a fact it was self-defense because blah 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 blah, and whatever else you was gonna say. And it was self-defense, and I know it was self-defense because one day my homeboy, he had said, and then when he had got out, and then they had tried to rush him, and he had came, like, whatever the case is, not I'm speaking as if I know for a fact that this is self-defense that I was just involved in. It's not going to be a question. I'm not going to have an inquiring tone when I'm speaking to the authorities while they are cammed and recorded and air tagged up. I am not going to you know, question or ask the question in an inquiring tone when I feel confident about something. If I'm confident about something, I don't need to ask you if you think that it was the case or not, because I know you wasn't there and I was. So I know for a fact that it was a self-defense case. But uh it's a lot of unnecessary conversations that are going forth online, on television, everywhere surrounding this case, period. Hey baby. Hey you. um they are my lawyer. She said I'm crazy for saying that it was raining and the elements had something to do with it. She said that we shouldn't have said that. She feels that we need to start discussing appeal processes. And I said, no, I don't want to discuss appeal right now, because appeal means that I'm going to admit defeat. You have to admit defeat if you're going to start planning for an appeal. And I do not feel that I want to plan for an appeal. So we're not going to discuss that neighborhood. Um, they said that he said a lot of things that he shouldn't have said. I'm sure that that has a lot to do with the conversations and the questions that he had for the police. Um, like I said, allegedly there were electronics that were allegedly taken before by them. Oh, and there was also the question of why did he have a knife? Well, I'm not sure where y'all live. So he was from um they said Baton Rouge. He was from Baton Rouge. I think they had moved there. Oh, we not getting defeated. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We not get okay. Thank you. Thank you. I just thought that when you were speaking in terms of the um well, let me I'm sorry, but that's who this discussion involves. That's what all these that's what all this conversation entails. It's all about Carmelo. That's what it's all about. So they said that he was from Baton Rouge, and I'm sure that, a lot of you who haven't grown up in the hood in urban areas don't, your question is why he got a knife? Why would anybody have a knife in their book bag? But unfortunately, because of the things that could happen, yes, Candace, thank you for joining. Thank you. That's not our problem. That's up to Brenda's family. Mimi, shut up. Um, those of us who go to school in urban areas, and depending on how we get to school, a lot of us are not bused to school. We do not stand at a cheese bus stop, and we do not wait on a bus, and our mother drops us off at the bus stop, and then the bus comes five minutes later, and we all of our classmates are on the bus, and it drives us to the school. We have to get to school by any means necessary. And a lot of times we have to walk through abandoned lots. We have to walk through horrible neighborhoods. We might have to step over dead bodies or unalived bodies. We have a lot of different conditions that we have to, different things that we face on our way to school that a lot of other people don't even have to think about. So for that reason, and when I say that, I mean like drug addicts, I mean people shooting dice on the corner. Like I used to walk past all kind of stuff going to school. You would be surprised who out at 7 and 8 in the morning. And it would be, I mean, people would have fights early in the morning. So it was all kind of stuff that that I would see on my way to school and on my route to go to school. So we have to, a lot of us carry things to protect ourselves because of the elements and what we may face on our way to school, because we don't have the luxury of having the option to be bused to school. We go to public schools. We just, we have to do what we have to do to get there. So even though I never did it, I never carried anything to school. But I know a lot of people that did. And I know a lot of people who carry way more than a little poker. That little poker thing. I know a lot of people. No, I don't think he in when he was in Baton Rouge, I don't think he took the bus to school. No. And I think he had to go to the neighborhood schools. Now, he was in better schools now that he had moved to Texas. That was his mother's reason when she did the press conference. She said that I moved my kids here 3 years ago to give them a better opportunity. So the schools and the education that they moved to 3 years ago, they moved to Fresno 3 years ago. So the mother said that she moved them there to give them, better opportunities so that they would have better options when it was time to, be looked at for colleges and higher learning. She wanted them to be able to broaden their horizons, have different conversations, go to the places where there were a lot of opportunities offered, rather than in their urban towns and in urban cities. And and like I said, I knew people who carried everything to school. And when we would get to school, because sometimes I don't know. I don't know what they did, but I think they made decent money though, man. But yeah, I'm just thinking like, I know that when we used to have like sweeps, which mean that we would get to school and it would be a long line outside because they was checking everybody's purses, book bags, briefcase, folders, notebooks, strapper keepers, everything, checking everybody's everything. And that's when people would go scrambling to hide things under bushes and under cars, and here, put this in your car, and here, go throw this under this bush, here, take this across the street to the gas station, here, run this around by the playground. Like everybody would be handing stuff off to go and put them in designated areas so that when they got up in that school, they wasn't didn't nobody find nothing in their wraps, because the police would be there. So the police would be there waiting on anybody who had anything, illegal on their person or in their person. So this was the public school that I went to. So I'm not sure where he come from, if this is what he's used to, and this is the way that he had to equip himself to go to school. I'm just not sure. Kids carry different things for totally different reasons. We don't know his history. So that's why I said, like, while things are emerging, different facts are coming up, and we are privy to more information, then like I said, this is documented information so that when I start learning different things emerging, different facts emerging, then I could have a change of heart. Him and the twins, no, they didn't go to the same school. That's why the twins were saying, get from under this tent, because at the track meet, their tent was, their designated school with the chairs and the tables under, under the tent. Yeah. So, but I was saying before, Mia, like, what made Austin so confident to go to that young man and say, you need to get up out this seat. Yeah, you don't need to sit over here. You need to get up. You need to go somewhere else and sit. Like, why was he so certain to do that? Like, these are all kids here on this track. So, like, why was he so, I'm about to go move him, instead of, let me go get the guard, because I ain't even about to start nothing. I'm about to go get the security guard, Big Bo. Yeah. So you think he felt like, get your black behind over on your side, Rosa Parks? But, so you think he was saying, get your black butt? I don't like her. I do not like my child. I do not. What do you mean racism is legal? What are you saying? It is not. That is not okay. You cannot say that. What are you talking about? You talking about in Texas? Like, that's something that should be legal in Texas, because it's not legal here in Michigan, ma'am. Well, well, is racism illegal? Racism not illegal, is it? I mean, it's just not ethical. It's not right. But I don't believe it's illegal. I don't think it's illegal. No, it's not okay. And it's not illegal, but it's not. Yeah, okay. Hate crimes are illegal. Okay. Okay. So, I don't believe this will be considered a hate crime. I don't think this is considered a hate crime, especially when it, it was initiated by somebody else. He didn't initiate everything. The boy initiated it. Seriously, like, he was the one who. It's not legal. No, I don't believe it is. But like Candace said, hate crimes are illegal. But I don't believe that this goes in the category of hate crimes. However, I say all of this to say that the more information that I get, it does not look good for Karmelo. And it just doesn't. Not a hate crime. Oh, okay. No, hate crimes are illegal. It just does not look good. I'm not of course I'm not an attorney, and my baby don't deal with criminal law either. But just looking at all the facts, or all the information, because they're not facts, because all of this is alleged. He's innocent until proven guilty. And But the information that I'm hearing, with everything that I'm hearing, because you can't tell nobody how mad to get if you step on my foot. You can't tell me not to be real mad that you stepped on my foot. But if I push your book bag or touch your book bag, I don't think that gives you license to poke me in my chest and puncture my heart. So I'm just feeling like, because he was an able-bodied, athletic build, six whatever tall young man, then the argument will be, why didn't you just fight him? Who? I didn't hear that, Candace. You saying Carmelo not having one? Or you talking about Metcalf, Austin? Oh, I know Austin didn't have anything, but everything that I heard that. So what I heard, Candace, is that the twin said that he did not see him go in the book bag and take anything out. He said when he turned around, it was already in his chest. So that's what the twin said. He said that he did not see him actually retrieve it from the book bag. So there are no, I don't think there was any witnesses who actually saw him actually go into the book bag and actually pull it out and actually saw, yeah, it happened really quick. So I don't think that he was able, he said that when he turned around and he looked back, he said it was, already had connected to him. And then he turned around again to say, call 911, get help. And then by that time, Carmelo had ran off. So nobody has come up. I'm like, I'm so shocked. What kind of school was this that they wasn't recording everything? You know how kids nowadays record everything. They can't miss nothing because they got phones up and everybody is recording. So now we got a situation that happened that there are no kids recording at all. I'm like, was it because of the rain? Like, what happened? I'm scared. Like, it's almost like, you know how they say, if you ain't put it on the gram, it didn't happen. Like, I'm almost like, so why didn't y'all record nothing? Like, everything is recorded all the time. No, it's not. No, he didn't. It seemed like the twin is the only thing that the twin didn't see, like I said, is where he got the poker from. So he didn't see. Somebody else said something about something coming out of a book bag, but that twin did not see it. He did not see anybody go into a book bag and retrieve a weapon. He did not see it. But I'm tripping like, so is there actual video of it and they just have, turned it over to the authorities and haven't posted anything on TikTok or anything? Or like, are they being threatened and told that if they post anything that they'll get in trouble? Because these kids just don't do nothing without without a phone. They have it sitting in their hand ready on go at all times. So I just don't see, like, why this situation here with all of these questions and all of these holes in this story. It's all kind of back and forth information, but nobody was recording. I find that so hard to believe. I really do. I could better believe that there was um there was people that have recorded it, but they've all turned their recordings over to the authorities because they were required to. Like, it's like nobody can walk around, like they told them. If you got something in your phone, you better turn it over. And if you show it to anybody, that's going to be a charge on you. So if you got something, you better off just giving it to us. And if you don't, then, and if we hear about it later and hear about you showing it to somebody else, or you showing it around the school and all that, you going to jail too. So that's probably what was said, because ain't no videos or nothing out here. And I'm just like, they don't even, this is 2025. These kids don't care about none of that. They record anything. They have stuff on record that they don't even care about, just in case. And then when it's a whole lot of them, you don't even know who recording, who got their phone up. So I don't know. It just seemed like it's just not looking good for Mr. Anthony. It is they did say that allegedly the twin was they were bullies, and they were going around terrorizing people. They would terrorize people, and it was a lot of people that were afraid of them. So, like I said, I don't know how true that is, but that was another, tidbit of information that I had. And we're just going to have to see if this young man, I believe his attorney is actually trying to push for the trial being taken away from that particular city, but it doesn't matter. It's like I said, we're in Michigan. Once we get, it depends, me. I think it just depends on everything that comes out. If he's saying that it was self-defense, and his attorney feel like he got a self-defense case to fight, then yeah, it's gonna go to trial, because the attorney already saying that he's putting the emotions because he doesn't want it to be in that city, because those minds are already tainted. But it's like everybody's mind is tainted, and it's just messed up, because this is another situation where the country is divided, and you got, people talking about it happens to us all the time, so it's about time it happened. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of unnecessary rhetoric that is being spewed, and the information, people are too emotional about it. A lot of people are, it's going to be hard for people to go to trial and not include their emotions in this, because this is an emotionally driven case. And it's nothing for you to go to a jury interview, and they ask you all those questions, and because you want to be on that jury, you answer those questions the right way. You just say, yeah, I'll be fair. No, I haven't heard a lot of things. No, I don't watch TV. Nope, I don't watch the news. Nope, I can't be swayed. What I think is what I feel. And this is what and I'll have to see the facts in order to make a decision. They're going to say all of that because they know that that's what all the attorneys want to hear. They know that the attorneys want to hear that, yes, I'll be fair, and I'll make sure that
remove my emotions from this situation, and I will thoroughly look at the documents and see what the evidence is before I make a decision. And it will not be tied to my emotions. And that's a darn blastic lie from the histories of the histories. Like, you know good and well that you are not going to be able to look at this information and set your emotions aside and say, check these boxes and check these boxes, and no, I don't have a feeling connected to this situation. That's not gonna be the truth. And I mean, unless the attorney gonna find somewhere off earth for them to have the trial, it's not gonna be possible. Yeah, Mimi, Candace think it will be. She think it'll go to trial, because I doubt if, I mean, he's raised all that money in that GoFundMe. That's for the case. That's supposed to be, going towards the case. The judge will probably try to scare the jury pool and say, if the court finds out they lied. But how they gonna find out they lied? Like, how easy is that to find out that a juror didn't? You said that's usually what they doing. But Mia, how easy is that for them to find out? Like, you did lie, because like later on, what they gonna find the conversation where they telling somebody, I do care and I really wanted that boy to go to prison. Like, I don't think that the judge will find any proof later, because that'll have to be like from somebody personal or close to them, because I'm sure they're not going to be in the coffee spot talking about, yeah, I was on there and I wanted that boy to go to jail and I said such and such. They're not going to go, they ain't going to go to the Starbucks and have this conversation with nobody. So, I mean, the judge can say that, but you're gonna be thinking like, how you don't know what's in my head? Like, feelings and emotions are hard to prove. It's hard for you to prove that somebody's feelings and their emotions went like this. I don't think that I don't think that that's gonna be a easy feat. I think that'll be something, even if the judge, adds that to try, as a scare tactic, when he includes all of the jury rules and the regulations and the procedures and the policies, and he say, yeah, so we've done these interviews, and I'm just letting you guys know that if we find out later that this was attached to your emotions and you did want to see this go down, or you either wanted to see him go to prison or not go to prison, so you made this decision and swayed everybody else your way, then you gonna go to prison for perjury, because they're gonna be like, okay, how you gonna find out? What you gonna say? How you gonna know I said? How you gonna know I felt it? You ain't gonna be like, oh yeah, Joyce Adams, I just saw her at the restaurant and she just said she glad she was on there because she was happy that what I'm like, who gonna be that crazy? Nobody's gonna be that careless and not, and knowing that they were given that instruction and then be reckless out their mouth out in the street. Ain't nobody that crazy. I hope ain't nobody that crazy. And if they is, and if you forget what you say and you somebody who don't remember stuff, don't even do it. Cause they is gonna send you to jail if they find out. So you do got to be careful with this information. But Mia, I was just telling her, I was saying yesterday, please make sure you tell your young nephews, sons, little brothers, little uncles, little cousins, little neighbors, whoever, if they get caught up by anything and have to deal with the police, shut up. Don't talk. Because that when that boy asked them, do y'all think this was self-defense? Judge Joe Brown said that was probably the worst thing that he could have done. He said that boy sitting back in that car, scared, shaking like Don Knox, and back there confiding in the police. Boy, these people not your friends. And that wasn't nothing but fear that had him sitting back there questioning himself. And do y'all think that, so what y'all think? So now, of course, prosecution gonna eat that up. They gonna be so happy he said that. And they bringing all them notes. All that. See, look what he said. Look, and then they bringing that record. They turning that in. All that dash cam. All that. They got everything. All their conversations while they driving to the jail. All that information, everything that he's saying, all that doubting. Do y'all think it's something? What y'all think? So, have y'all ever been in a situation like this? Do y'all think? So, okay, so let's say it was one of y'all. So, if somebody came up to, what y'all think y'all, like, what the? Why do you want to talk about that? Like, what? And then, of course, they get them in them rooms without no parents, no authorities. He only 17 years old. They know he not no adult. But you could tell me, I could see if I can help you out a little bit. I'm going to try to see what I can do. Because, you seem like a cool young brother. Then I'm thinking, like, this young man was not, he was at a Division I school. He's a star athlete at a Division I school. I do not feel like he did all of this conditioning, all of these years, all this wake. You got to wake up early in the morning to go to practice. My brothers did it. They used to wake up at 6 in the morning to go run. You do that day in and day out. They used to go to weight training after school. They will wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, go to school, whatever time school started, go to weight training and practice after school. They wouldn't even get home till 9:30, 10 o'clock, playing some dang on football and running track. So this young man has done all of this preparing. He has all of these schools that are looking at him, scouts that are positioning him to be successful, to go to the right places. They got the most money. They've given him the most scholarships, that he's going to have the most playing time. And I'm just hating that he really, I don't want to believe that he said, I'm about to throw all this away. All this work I did, sure, it don't mean nothing. I'm about to throw this. I don't believe that. I do not believe that he woke up that morning and said, like Candace said, what a waste. I don't believe that he woke up that morning and said, I'm about to throw my life away today. I think I'm about to try to, where that knife at? I'm about to go and get that and put that in my book bag, and today gonna be the day. I'm just about to blow it all. Like, I do not want to believe that about that baby. I don't want to think that even in getting all the praises that he was getting, and all the coaches who was calling him, that he was meeting with, and he was able to, play the poker face where they choosing what school they going to, but they trying not to tell you what school they going to, because they know that this one want them and this one want them and this one want them, but they ain't gonna talk about like where they going. Like, I don't believe that he just chose to do something crazy to cause himself to no longer be in the number and lose everything. And now he's costing his family so much money, and they got the mother was saying that her and the dad, I don't remember what they did, like where they worked, and you said these kids don't get that one choice can end everything. That it can end everything. Yeah, I don't know what type of careers they had and where they worked, but she said that they had been losing a lot of money because they couldn't work. They hadn't been working because they were, dealing with their child, and they were trying to get the bond lowered, and they hadn't been making any money because this took priority in their lives. And they have to send their younger children to counseling because he was the oldest, and he was the one who did a lot of helping around the house. And he was the big brother. And she just said that everybody's lives have totally changed in the blink of an eye. I'm sure everybody's lives have changed for all involved. The Metcalf family, I know their lives have changed. That twin who shared a womb with his brother, they were only 4 minutes apart, and he said they hadn't done anything away from each other. They brushed their teeth together, they washed dishes together. So I know this has affected all parties involved, but it's like they couldn't go to work. So now they're all the other kids that's under him, their grades gonna fall. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a domino effect. It's so much affected, and it's just messed up. It's just all messed up. Mia, you right. They don't get it. The one choice, it ends everything. And they they start snatching them scholarships real quick. Once them boys start getting in trouble, they be like, up Notre Dame off the table. Up UNLV just called. They said no, not no more. Up what was the University of Texas just called. Like, it's just like they start snatching their deals off the table with the quickness. They ain't even waiting. It's like innocent until proven guilty, except to everybody else, because they taking their money off the table. They putting their money on the next best athlete. They not even waiting on you to finish this. It's a wrap. So wherever you were talking about going, and then he can't even finish his senior year. They told him he can't even come back to the school. So he not even gonna be able to do that. Just sad. Everything just changed in the blink of an eye. And that is what the sad part is. All of these people lives totally changed. Unfortunately. Yep, so that's what we're up against, guys. And we're just gonna have to just follow this, and we're just gonna have to see what pans out. It'll be a while before we'll know, as far as going to trial, because of course they're gonna file a million motions, and then they gonna push back, and then they gonna have to, I can't make that month, and I go to vacation this month, and I gotta do this. So it's gonna be a while before
we can finally, get in court with this. But I'm hoping that somebody got some video so that it can be way more cut and dry than us sitting up here guessing about what we heard and what we think and all of this, and then we just don't know nothing until everything over with. I definitely don't want to have to wait until he hit the gavel. So thank you for joining. Even the people that were in the bushes that never came to say anything, thank you all too. I appreciate you too. I love you all, and I really appreciate the support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you guys have a good evening. I may be back tomorrow. If I don't, everybody have a great, enjoyable Resurrection Day, Easter, all that good stuff. And yeah. Okay, Mimi said, well, let's not hope for the video until we know what the video looked like. Okay. Okay, attorney Amia Jackson. Let's not hope for the video unless we know what the video looked like. So if the video look horrible, I don't want the video. I don't want the video. If the video don't look right, I want the video if it look right. I mean, of course, it's not going to look right because, I mean, it's something, the horrible thing that's happening. But you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, what she said. She crazy. Okay, Sweet Squad. Love y'all. Have a good evening. I'm out.